Hey guys, this is Spark42, and we're welcoming to our very first episode called Drivers Versus. How that works, let me explain. So obviously I'll take two different drivers. It's from off of any series like NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula 1. There's a few you can name off that's part of like racing. And what I'll do, we're going to go off by stats, by average wise. And all that by in the same amount of years, like by first, whatever it is, by differentials. Now, recently, if you heard this from California, from Sunday, Kyle Busch has won 200, has hit the magical 200 on Sunday from all across 3 series, which is huge. Almost a crazy deal. Doing it in all 3 series is pretty impressive, let me tell you that. And, so that's a big hit. Good job. But then, it also got the thing that tied Richard Petty. But sometimes I think if you focus on one particular series, then there's a big difference. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Today on Drivers Versus, we got Kyle Busch versus Richard Petty. Let's start with Richard Petty first. He competed in NASCAR in the very high series for 35 years. And while Kyle Busch is currently on his 17th season, let's just say unofficially, before the 2019 season could be over, if we don't focus on the 2019, the current season right now, if we don't focus on that, he's been doing it for 16 years. So obviously we're going to be looking at the difference of the first 16 years for both of these guys. That's where we're going to be looking at. We start with Richard Petty. I got all these different categories over here that I took some time to analyze. So let's get started, shall we? So in the 16 years, Richard Petty has done 624 races, which is an average of 39 per year, which is pretty good, right? I mean, that's almost nearly the same amount of concept of what we have for NASCAR. 36 races a year, so not bad, at least for a good average, right? From out of the 16 years, Richard Petty has 154 wins in the Cup Series during that time, which is an average of a 9.6, which that is pretty good. Which is almost nearly cap off like Jeff Gordon's 1997 season with like 10 wins. So if anybody remember that, if they have to go back to their history. Top 5s. Richard Petty had 374 top 5s, which a average for that is a 23.3. Now that is pretty impressive, I'll tell you that. So 23.3 top 5s. It's like you can make almost like in one season, you know? Hold on, I gotta get this down so I can remember what it is. And the same thing for Kyle Busch. But anyways, so yeah, there goes your top 5 for Richard Petty. Top 10s, 446 top 10s, which is an average of a 27.8. That's nearly almost a pretty good concept, like Joey Logano's and Martin Truex Jr.'s champ years from 26 top 10s, and nearly almost 28, so that's actually not bad. That's a pretty good average. Richard Petty, 106 poles from those first 16 years in the Cup, on an average of 6.6 poles per year. Now that's pretty good. It's pretty impressive like that. The average start during the 16 years of 5.7. The average finish, 9th. A 9th for Richard Petty. He has 4 championships during that time. And then for laps led from the 16 years, he has led 38,419 laps, which is an average closely, or right at, 2,401 laps led. Now that is, wow, nearly almost 2,500. And during those times that he was racing, it was from 1958 to 1973. Now let's go on to Kyle Busch's side. Obviously, as of right now, he's still currently racing. But if we look from 2004 to 2018, there's a good amount of difference. So if I'm out of 16 years or something like that, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if my thing's wrong, let me know. This is just what I got. This is just basically what I got. All right. From the 16 years, 498 starts he made, which is an average 31. Again, that's pretty well impressive. 51 wins in the Cup Series for Kyle Busch during that time, from 16 years, which is an average of 3.18. Which, now we have to go back from 2008 and 2018. His good seasons, those 8 wins. I just feel like the 2018 would have been his best year, and a lot of people still remember this. There were like saying that either him, Truex, or Harvick would have been champions if they say the playoff format was different. But anyway, let's get back to it. Top 5s. Kyle Busch, during the time of 2004 to 2018, has 183 top 5s, versus an average of 11.4. So that's pretty good. Top 10s. 269 top 10s for Kyle Busch during that time, an average of 16.8. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus. Now, whatever it is. But anyways, next, 31 poles that he has, which is an average of 1.9. Normally, well, nowadays he's been doing an impressive job. He's been getting a lot of speed with his cars lately. I mean, going back with his criticisms, I mean, let me just show you a fact. Kyle Busch doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like, he could say what he says, but love him or hate him, whether you like it or not, he's just that talented behind the wheel. It doesn't matter what car it is, he will just drive the guts out of it. He's just that good. From the average start and average finishes for Kyle Busch, his average start is a 12.8, and his average finish is a 14.1. So that's not bad. Good top 15s at least. He has one championship, which is in 2015, the comeback year of wow. I mean, from out of this format that we got, it has to be maybe the greatest comeback of the year that I think anybody has ever done, which I think that's impressive. Now, laps led. Kyle Busch, from 2004 to 2018, 16,077 laps, which is an average of 1,004, which is, it's actually not bad. It's honestly like half of usually 2,000, but that's still an impressive run. So now, after you analyze all that, now, do you question it? Who you think is better? If you were focused by stats, the way I'm looking at this, almost from out the first years, like, from off of that, from out of those 16, I mean, no offense to the Kyle Busch fans, you have to say, on the Cup side, Richard Petty is better. And here's why. I mean, if you go and analyze by stats, I mean, both of them are in different generations, but they still connect with one thing. But honestly, I wrote this down here. I mean, you can't. It's a hard time seeing it if it's reflected backwards, but it is a crazy stress that Richard Petty was ahead of his time. He was really, and he was that good. He was very great. All thanks with the Petty name, Lee Petty, that helped with the generation. Really got started, which that was a crazy thumbs up. And Kyle Busch, I mean, who had a great raw amount of talent like his brother Kurt Busch, but was way better than Kurt Busch, and just completely went up to the charts. And of course, been doing all of this trucks and Xfinity and whatever, that he'll just find a way to win. He doesn't care that how many he does, or he gets a bunch of criticism for doing those lower series. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it. It's just that simple regardless. He's not going to care. Yes, there will be criticism, but he still doesn't care. He's still going to get his job done, whether the fans like it or not. So yeah, that's my prediction. So obviously the winner for that one is Richard Petty by a heck of a good stats. Because honestly, I mean, no offense. I mean, those were different generations, like I said. But Richard Petty was way ahead of his time back then. It was just that talented. Like, he was that great. So anyways, if you got any more drivers versus suggestions, please leave it down in the comments below to see who else that we can try to pull off for. Who we can try to do possibly in the next 2 weeks. So I hope you all have enjoyed this, and I hope I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!